about that cold dead heart. I also read all 3 of the graphic novels that Ksenia sent me for Christmas because she always sends me good ones and I couldn't resist. Sailor Twain by Mark Siegel. I think I am going to save the full review of this for Fairy Tale Fortnight. Even though it's not a fairy tale retelling, it has to deal with mermaids, which just fit in well with the fortnight. But definitely thumbs up. The story is nice, it's intriguing, kind of open-ended, and I like that. A little dark, of course, and I like that. But what really won me over is the art is just fantastic in it. It's really unlike anything else that's out there. It's these sort of soft, blended charcoals. Quirky, because all of the characters have crazy eyes, so it's a little weird. But it's just, it's a stunner. It's gorgeous. And there's a lot of humor to it, too. So here's these panels of the main character trying to carry a mermaid, which logistically I had never really thought about how difficult that would be. But it's just beautifully done. There's a good humor and depth in the artwork themselves that add really well to the story, which is sort of the hallmark of a good graphic novel for me. So definitely worth it. Ambiguous, so it might not work for everyone, but really good. I liked it. Same Difference by Derek Kirk Kim, which is this sort of slice of life type of story. Definitely gets a thumbs up. I really love the way Derek Kirk Kim approaches a story and his sort of humor and humanness to it. It has a really great cast of characters and the story itself is really relatable. It works. It's very quick. It's very just this engaging little moment in time. Just about kind of human connection and humor in that. I'm making it sound more serious than it is. It was just really, really fun, really enjoyable. And the other was Americus by M.K. Reid and Jonathan Hill. This one gets a thumbs up as well. It's about sort of Harry Potter style book censorship. I think some people will be put off by this and the sort of heavy-handedness of it. There were some things that did bother me a little bit, just in minor choices, but for the most part, to me, it reads like a book lover's love letter to book lovers. Some people I think will think it's over the top and that characters like this don't really exist. I have met them. I've met these people. All you need really to understand this book and how completely possible it is to watch this one very brief clip of the documentary Jesus Camp where Pastor What's-Her-Face is railing against Harry Potter and wizards, warlocks, whatever she calls them, being the enemies of God and, you know, just like wall-to-wall crazy pants. I think she is these characters, you know, that crazy pastor lady. It's over the top in the way that a satire or a parody will be, slightly, but the whole point of them is that these things do exist, that people really are like this, and it's slightly exaggerated just to kind of point those things out, but that doesn't mean that it's inaccurate. So there were a lot of things that I would come across and think, that nailed it right there. But some other people will read those same things and be a little uncomfortable or think that's absurd. So it's really just going to depend on the reader, but I think that most open-minded book lovers are going to find a lot to like and relate to in Americus. I also read The Princess Curse by Mary Haskell, and thumbs and toes pointing up. This is definitely top of the pile right now at this point in the year. This is number 1. I adored it. I read part of it for Friday Reads, so you can see more of my enthusiasm there, and I will be reviewing it in full during Fairy Tale Fortnight. But basically, when I read the little excerpts for you guys for Friday Reads, I couldn't get this one out of my head, so I just had to pick it up. And thank God I did. I absolutely adored this, just throughout. I really can't think of a weak point. Loved it, beginning to end. I don't know whether it's going to be a standalone. I'm certainly hoping it's not. There is room to kind of grow the story at a later date, and I'm really, really, really hoping that that will be the case. But even if not, it's an excellent, very strong standalone. Whether you're a fairy tale lover or not, especially if you've got some middle grade fairy tale lovers in your life, someone looking for a good fantasy, this one's excellent. Pick it up. Shadowlands by Kate Bryan, which I didn't give a rating on Goodreads yet, but I'm gonna go with right in the middle. This is a difficult one to talk about because there's a big spoiler and I'm gonna avoid that spoiler. But basically, the first half of the book I was irritated with the characters, irritated with the way things were happening, had a lot of questions, and it was about the midpoint that I thought the only thing that could save this book is, insert big spoiler, and the big spoiler happened. So it pulled itself up at the end. So it was in this nosedive and then it had this big like loop-de-loop and leveled out, and I ended up liking it in retrospect and thinking that it would make an interesting reread, whereas in the beginning I probably didn't even want to finish it, so let alone reread it. But there's a problem in that if you push your readership away before they get to that point, then it's not gonna matter. All the good saves in the end and the interestingness in the end isn't gonna matter if your reader doesn't even have the patience to get there. I do think that I might read the second book in the series, just to kind of see how things change from the end and the way that the series is sort of set up from there. It's also very, very quick and engaging enough. But stylistically, there were some things that I had real serious issues with, especially in the characters, and I don't know whether the end or whether potential for the rest of the series outweighed those things that annoyed me in the beginning. So I'm still stuck, you know, middle of the road, kind of on the fence about this one. That one's kind of a toss-up. The final book I read is called Wallbanger by Alice Clayton. Don't judge me. This is like one of those late night decisions, you know, that you're like, why did I do that? Basically, I was on Goodreads and I was reading all of these hilarious reviews of it, and I needed to know. Whatever, I ended up reading this book like throughout the night. And though it was not ever necessarily a good book, it was freaking hilarious, and so I can't regret it at all. And I think that Alice Clayton accomplished what she set out to accomplish, which was to make this really funny kind of frolic, this, you know, really campy and silly and, you know, sexy and steamy book, but something that has a really fun, light, silly tone, very tongue-in-cheek and other places. It was fun. And I don't regret having read it. I don't know that I would, you know, openly admit that I read it in public. If you're looking for a good steamy time, if you're a romance fan, you can do worse. So that is what I read in January. Quite the stack and very diverse. So let me know what you think of the books that I read in January. If you have read them, let me know your thoughts. And if you do your own January rewind, definitely link it up as a video response so that I can come and check out what you read. You can also link up vlog and blog posts at the linky on thebookrat.com. That's all from me. Happy reading! This is a sort of mermaid? What?